Welcome to the Collaborative Cinch, where we break down larger topics into easy to understand bites. Hi, I'm Katie Swanson, founder of Change Collaborative. We bring a corporate level business planning and analysis function on a fractional basis to startups, high growth companies, and companies looking to exit in 3 to 5 years with actual or projected annual revenue of 2 to 20 million. These topics and strategies are designed to inform, inspire, and ignite change in your business and life. So here we go. So the first calculation that we're going to talk about is if you had a decrease in your full-time equivalent employees. So what is a full-time equivalent? So there are two ways to determine a full-time equivalent. So the first way is for each employee, you could take the average hours paid per week and divide that by 40. So if you have an employee that works 40 hours a week, divide that by 40, then you have 1 FTE. If you have an employee that works 20 hours a week, take your 20 divided by 40, and you have a half of an FTE. So that's one way you could kind of do that calculation based on the hours that they work a week and divide that by 40. The simplified method is an alternative that you can use, which simply just you use 1 for each employee who works 40 hours a week, and 0.5 for employees who work fewer than 40 hours a week, whether that's 30, 32, 15, or 20. So you have those two methods to determine your FTEs, and you will need to know those in order to complete the calculations in the PPP forgiveness application. So once you understand what an FTE is, then there is the FTE calculation. So the FTE calculation, this is for first and second draw loans, whether it was in 2020 or 2021. You're going to compare the average full-time equivalents during your covered period to the average full-time equivalents during what they call a reference period. Right, so you need to go calculate your full-time equivalents for your covered period. I guess you need to determine what you want your covered period to be. So go do that calculation. And then you need to figure out, then you have kind of 2 reference periods that you can use. So your first option as a reference period is February 15th, 2019 through June 30, 2019. So you're going to go look and calculate your full-time equivalents for that period and compare it to your average full-time equivalents during your covered period. Then your second reference period, it's an option, so you'll want to calculate your average FTEs for both periods. Your second period is January 1, 2020 through January 20th, 2020. So calculate your average FTEs for those periods and compare it to your FTEs for your covered period. And there is a little bit of strategy in here, right? So you want to choose the reference period with the fewer FTEs to help maximize your loan forgiveness. So if you're looking at your average FTEs during your covered period, and I actually have an example of this, which we'll go through. So if your average FTEs during your covered period, let's say, is 6, and then your average FTEs during your reference period is 8. So I chose one of those 2 options that we have. Then you can use that to calculate your FTE reduction quotient. So your FTE reduction quotient is going to take your FTEs during your covered period divided by the average FTE during your reference period. So I have 6 divided by 8, and that's my reduction quotient. So then that is used and multiplied times your loan amount, and you would have a reduction in your forgiveness by that quotient. So again, another example. So if I had 8 in my reference period and I had 7 during my covered period, my reduction quotient is 0.88. So if I had a $100,000 PPP loan, then my loan forgiveness amount is reduced. My loan forgiveness amount is reduced down to $88,000. So essentially there's $12,000 that's not forgiven because I had a reduction. Thank you for watching the Collaborative Cinch. If you want this content directly to your inbox, please sign up for our newsletter by going to our website, www.changecollaborative.co, and registering. If you need help with this topic or any other topic we have covered, please complete the Contact Us form on our website for a free one-time 15-minute consultation. We look forward to seeing you next time for another Collaborative Cinch.